Hello, sweet friends, and welcome to Yoga by the Moon. My name is Michelle, and I'm here to guide you through a practice for the last quarter moon for February 9th, 2026. Before I get into my usual spiel about where the moon is positioned in astrology and how it's going to impact us and everything, I want to take a moment and thank you for bearing with me. I know I haven't posted in a couple of weeks, and I do apologize for that. I know probably a couple times you've seen one of my little kiddos in the background, or heard their noises, or heard their TV or something. I am a mom, and I have a family, and we'd had pneumonia run its way through the house over the last few weeks, and so I've been a little bogged down by mom life and sick life and stuff. So I do sincerely apologize for the delay. Obviously, those things take priority, but I am sorry that I left you guys hanging, especially for that full moon, which I had a beautiful practice for that, and I'm sorry, but hopefully you can bear with me for the next full moon. And thank you for hanging in there with me and embracing my humanness as well, as I embrace yours. So again, we are here at the last quarter moon for February 9th. And the last quarter moon is kind of this pause, this moment between the full moon and the new moon, where we take a chance to assess ourselves. We have this moment of reflection. It's kind of a final release, a kind of final tallying of our existence before we prepare for the newness that is the new moon. And what we do is we eliminate the residue of emotional thought, of convoluted thinking, things that just aren't serving our highest good, serving our lives now, and serving our authenticity. We get the chance to kind of clear out that residue in this pause. And we are in the season of Aquarius right now, the age of Aquarius, as it were. And Aquarius is the truth seeker. That is one of their primary qualities, their primary beautiful elements and aspects. And so that really aligns itself well with the last quarter moon, because it gives us that chance to illuminate what our truth is, what our authenticity is, what being our authentic selves looks like, what that feels like. And Aquarius gives us, shines that light to show us what that looks like and what that feels like. And it's a great time to reflect on that. In order to do that, though, as the last quarter moon says, we have to kind of clear out that old residue, that thought residue, that emotional residue. We carry a lot of emotions. We bury a lot of emotions that we're like, oh, we'll deal with that later. Well, later has come, everyone. It is time to do that. And what is great about this particular last quarter moon is the moon is positioned in Scorpio. And Scorpio really asks you to dig deep into yourself. You really connect deeply within to feel all of your feelings. You are really rooted to your emotions with Scorpio. And so while this light of authenticity is shining from Aquarius, we can feel all those feelings, and that way it clears out that space. It makes room for the new, and it shines light on our true authentic selves, so we can move into the newness of the new moon that is coming up in authenticity. So all of that said is we are going to make space for our emotions today. We're going to make space for ourselves. We're going to make space for surrender and release. So it's going to be a very surrendering, releasing, gentle practice. You're going to probably want a couple of blocks on hand, just because some of these postures that we hold or just might be a little bit more comfortable if you have access to blocks. If you don't have blocks, a couple of hardback books, or even some like throw pillows or regular pillows can work easily too. But you might want something nearby just to to help you so that you don't get too deep into postures if you don't want to, or you give yourself that space, because we're trying to make space, right? So let's give ourselves space as we practice. Join me on the mat, and we are going to start very simply by laying down. Nice, beautiful Shavasana. Feet at one end of the mat, head at the other. And we're just going to begin with some abdominal breath. So place one hand on your heart and one on your belly. And just tune in now to yourself. See if you can hear your heart beating. See if you can slow down the rhythm of your breath. There is no count for our inhales and exhales today. There is no retention of our breath today. We are simply noticing our breath and trying to deepen it, whatever that means to you, however that feels to you. But notice with your inhales, see if you can notice your belly expand, your hand rising maybe. And with your exhales, notice maybe your belly pulling in. Maybe you'll even see your hand fall. And notice with every breath, as you focus on deepening it, you're able to connect more to that rhythm, to that rise and fall, and to that inner voice that tells you what feelings maybe you need to feel, what thoughts that maybe you need to let pass through you. Just take a couple more deep breaths like this in your own time before we begin some gentle and subtle movement. This breath is so good for calming your nervous system, for allowing your emotions to surface, for allowing you to clear that mental space as well. And if you're ready for some movement, you can keep your hands where they are or put them at your side. But we're just gently going to bend our knees outward, the right knee pointing out to the right, left to the left, and bring the soles of your feet together, creating a diamond shape with your legs in reclined cobbler's pose or reclined butterfly. Maybe if you wish, you take the palms of your hands and rest them on the hip creases to sort of hold them open a little bit more in this gentle hip opener. We store a lot of our emotions in our hips. And so when we release through our hips and we open up our hips, we allow that emotional expression to take hold. Another breath or two here. And as you're ready, gently close your knees together like a book, planting the soles of your feet on the mat. We're just going to gently windshield wiper our legs, bringing our knees to the left, and then bringing our knees to the right. Just kind of undulating through those hips slightly, releasing through those hip points, bringing some movement and blood flow to our legs. One more on either side. And then as you're ready, we're going to do a yogi pancake and flip on over to our bellies, bringing your elbows underneath your shoulders, hands planted on the mat, and pull your chest through here in Sphinx. Beautiful heart opening posture. Nice release in the lower spine. One more breath in. As you breathe out, lower your forehead. And then we're going to take our left hand, palm down all the way out to the left, kind of making an L between your head and your hand, arms straight out to the side with the left. Use your right arm as sort of a tent or a prop, and you're going to take your right leg and kick it all the way over, planting the sole of your foot on the left side of the mat in this sort of twisted tadpole kind of posture. It is known as broken wing. You're going to feel a stretch in the front of that left shoulder, maybe through that left chest muscle. And as you're ready, come back to your belly. Bring your right arm out to the side now, planting that palm, tenting the left fingers as a little kickstand. Kick that left leg back to the right side, planting the left foot on the mat. Stretching through the right shoulder, right side of the chest. As I said, we are just going to be doing release today. We can hold a lot of tension in our shoulders and our chest, and we can't feel our feelings or release our thoughts without releasing the tension. One more breath here. As you breathe out, come back to your belly. Hands come under your shoulders as you press on up to all fours. Take your time getting there. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Now keep your hips and knees as they are, but walk your hands forward, bringing your chest towards the mat in puppy pose or melting heart posture, stretching through the upper back and back of the shoulders. Surrender. This is a beautiful posture of release and surrender. Maybe you want to bring your forehead all the way to the mat. Maybe you would like a block or pillow underneath the forehead to not make the stretch so intense. Find your edge and either meet it or back off of it, but do not push past it. One more breath here. And as you exhale, slowly rise and walk those hands back under your shoulders. As you're ready, bring that belly to the floor. Look up on an inhale. Exhale, round that spine, looking to the mat. Cat and cow. Articulating through that spine. And maybe this time we try to move as slowly through this posture as possible. Getting those juicy kinks worked out, that juicy stretch. Allowing deeper release in the body. Tuning into ourselves, because in doing that, that's where we find our authenticity. One more cat and cow wherever you are. And as you're ready, come back to tabletop. Now maybe you want to bring that right hand a little bit more centered in the mat under your nose. And then on an inhale, we're going to take our left hand and raise it on up to the sky. Exhale, that left hand is going to come underneath our chest through our right arm. Inhale, open that arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, open up one last time on this side. And on an exhale, we're going to thread the needle and hold now. Stretching the shoulder in a different way. Releasing our upper body as much as possible today. Relieve the tension so we can feel our feelings. Connect to ourselves. Breathing deep the whole time. One more breath in. On an exhale, come back to all fours. Maybe you want to take a round of cat and cow. Reset the spine just a little bit. And as you're ready, that left hand is going to come under our nose, center it in the mat. Inhale, opening that right arm up to the sky. Exhale, thread it between your left arm and your left leg on the mat. Inhale, open up. Exhale, thread the needle. Inhale, last opening up. Exhale, thread the needle and hold. Long, deep breaths. Allowing the tension to fall away. Things that do not serve us will fall away as it does. One more breath in here. And on an exhale, come back to tabletop. Once again, maybe you want to do another round of cat and cow just to reset that spine. And whenever you're ready, we're going to lift that right leg up parallel to our spine. And then exhale, bring the right foot to the outer part of your mat. Keeping it kind of on that outer right edge. Sink into that hip here in lizard pose. Now maybe you want to stay up high. Maybe you'd like some blocks underneath your hands to kind of make it even less intense. Or if you're like me and that's not enough of a hip opening, maybe you want to come down onto your elbows. But you should notice a very deep opening in that right hip, that right inner thigh. Breathing deep will help us release through it, help us feel through it, help us push through it. One more breath in here. Keeping your legs as they are, but if you were on your elbows, come back up onto your hands and bring that left hand under your nose again as we did in thread the needle. And we're going to raise our right arm up to the sky in a lizard twist. Bringing out the things that don't serve us in this beautiful twisting posture. Exhale, bring that hand down, and then heel toe your right foot until it's centered on the mat. Sink into that hip and rise on up with your arms, keeping that left knee on the mat in a low lunge. Here we have that energy of Aquarius to move forward with hope with that new moon, seeking that truth for ourselves. One more breath in here. As you exhale, straighten through that right leg, keeping your hips above your left knee, folding over that right leg in a half splits. Now, if this is too deep of a posture like this, maybe you want those blocks underneath your hands to bring the earth up to you and make the forward fold a little less intense. But you should feel a very good stretch in the back of that right thigh, maybe all the way down to your heel. With every exhale, you release a little more. Even if you do not move anymore, or you just make micro movements, you figuratively, emotionally release here. One more breath in. As you breathe out, we're going to heel toe that right foot all the way to the left side of the mat now, and come on that outer right edge of the shin and sink down into that right hip. Maybe you crawl that left knee back a little bit. Pigeon pose. We're going to remain here in proud pigeon, propped up on our hands, upright. If it is more comfortable for you, you are welcome to come down on your hands in sleeping pigeon. I find the hip opening a little bit better and deeper if I stay up. But if you do not wish to go so deep into your hip opening, please fold into sleeping pigeon. I am trying to match the intensity that is Scorpio here, so I stay up. One more breath in. As you breathe out, plant those hands under your shoulders and bring that right knee back next to meet the left in tabletop. Another round of cat and cow to reset that spine. Make sure you are centered on the mat, all those things, those little wiggles. And then on a breath in, left leg comes parallel to your spine. As you exhale, that left foot comes to the outer left part of your mat. And you're going to crawl that right knee back slightly and sink into that left knee, getting deep into the inner left thigh and the right hip flexor, which is that top part of your thigh, that very top part under your groin. Deep stretch. If you would like those blocks under your hands, that is an option. If you would like to get deeper into it and come down on your elbows, that too is an option. Whichever option you choose, just be sure to breathe deeply. I'm probably starting to sound redundant by saying that, but all of these deep breaths are allowing us to feel our feelings, to allow thoughts to pass fully through us, and release all of that residue that the last quarter moon wishes us to shed. One more breath in here. And on an exhale, if you are on your elbows, come up onto your hands. Bring that right hand under your nose and then open your left arm to the sky. Lizard twist. Wringing out all of the things that do not serve us. Looking to the newness of the new moon that will be coming. One more breath in. As you exhale, bring your hand down. Heel toe that left foot until it is centered. Sink into that left knee, keeping your right knee on the mat. Raising up, low lunge. This is about as strong as we get today. But we do need that strength to carry us forward so that we can enter the new moon strong. One more breath in here. As you exhale, bring your hands to the mat. As you straighten that left leg, hips come above that right knee, folding over your left leg. Half splits on the other side. Another very symbolic posture of release. Surrendering to the universe and what it has in store for us. Allowing Aquarius to work its magic of shining that light of authenticity as Scorpio works its magic to dig deep to that self-connection. One more breath in here. As you breathe out, heel toe that left foot to the right side of the mat now and come down onto that left hip, sinking onto the outer left part of your shin. Maybe you crawl that right knee back. Proud pigeon. Deep, intense hip opening stretch. If it is too intense here in proud pigeon, you are welcome to fold forward and bring your forehead to the floor. In sleeping pigeon, but as I said before, on the other side, I like to match the intensity of Scorpio. My ascendant sign is in Scorpio, and so a lot of the way things move me is in alignment with what Scorpio is. And so I try to embrace that when I do things. But that may not be how you do things, and that is okay. We are all different, and that is part of the beauty of the universe, of the community that we form, of our connectedness, of life in general. One more breath in here. As you breathe out, we're going to kind of sit into that left hip more and swing that right leg around, bringing both feet to the bottom of the mat, planting the soles of your feet on the mat, and laying down with your spine. Find your shoulder blades pulled together underneath. Find the mat firmly underneath the soles of your feet. Find your spine and hips in alignment. When you're ready, we're going to take a bridge flow for 5 breaths, where on an inhale, we're going to lift our hips in the bridge and raise our arms overhead. On an exhale, we bring it all down. On the last one, we will hold it. So if you're ready, on an inhale, hips and arms up. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift and hold. Now crawl those shoulder blades in even more. If you would like to keep your hands down this time, you may. Might be more comfortable for you. If you do, nice release in that lower spine, in the back of our thighs. One more breath in here. And as you exhale, slowly lower your spine all the way down, hips down. Bring your ankles, your heels to the bottom of the mat. And center yourself as you recline. Inhale, if arms come up overhead in this recline posture, and your right hand grabs at your left wrist, tilting your body to the right side. Bring the heels of your feet to the bottom right corner of the mat. Maybe you take your left ankle and cross it over your right into this reclined side body stretch, known as side lying banana for the banana shape it makes. Yet another posture of release. Opening ourselves up to our authenticity, to the newness of the new moon that's coming. One more breath in here. As you exhale, come back to center, arms still overhead. This time your left hand grabs your right wrist as you bring that right wrist to the left side of the mat. Your heels come to the left corner of the mat, and maybe that right ankle crosses over the left. Inside lying banana on the other side. One more breath in. As you breathe out, come to your version of Shavasana. Maybe your arms come to the side, maybe palms up, maybe palms down. Maybe one hand on your chest and one on your belly. Maybe you would wish to come back to that reclined cobbler's pose where the soles of your feet come together once again, hands on your hip creases. Wherever you are, settle into your version of Shavasana as I come to guide you through a meditation for this last quarter moon. Visualize a soft pink light coming down from this waning moon and weaving all around you. Imagine that this soft pink light is whisking away any stagnant energy, old beliefs, or cords connected to other people that are no longer serving you. Imagine it sending anything it takes from you down into the earth to be transformed into useful energy for someone else. Some things might stay that you wish to go, and that is okay. Imagine this soft pink light is now surrounding you like a soft cloud of love. Say aloud if you wish or in your head, "Waning moon, I ask you to help me love and accept myself where I am right now. Focus on your breath, deep and strong. Be open and receptive to receiving love and acceptance. Trust any sensations that you experience as truth, for Aquarius is bringing it to you. Continue to focus on your breath, deep and strong. You are surrounded and supported by love, by light, by truth. Stay in this loving space for as long as you wish, as long as time allows. And when you're ready, thank the moon for the release and the love that it shared with you. As you're ready, release any control that you had over your breath. Connect to your body once again by bringing subtle movement. Maybe wiggle your fingers and your toes. Turn your wrists, your ankles. Bend your knees, your elbows. Maybe you wish to take a nice, long, full body stretch. Or maybe you want to hug yourself tight. As you're ready, bring one hand to your side, roll over, and press yourself up to a gentle seat. If your eyes were closed or you had a soft gaze, you may slowly flutter your eyelids open now. Take in the sights around you. Come back to this present moment with yourself, with me, in this beautiful Yoga by the Moon community. I hope you feel more connected to yourself. I hope you feel more alive in your authenticity. I hope you feel like you got release. I thank you for joining me today. I thank you for your embrace of me, your acceptance of my humanity, and for joining me in these practices, allowing me to guide you through how I see astrology and the moon guiding us. Because all of that is, even though there are guides for it and official things for it, it's all up to interpretation, right? We all have our own takes on things, and I thank you for allowing me to share mine and joining me in that experience and sharing my practice. So from my heart to yours, a deep and humble namaste, and I can't wait to join you for the new moon.